It is June the 3rd, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful outside. It's about 85 degrees and sunny here in northern New Jersey, and I'm feeling pretty good. You know what I mean? Things are coming along well. Things are coming along well. And, it's definitely been surprising to say the least what's going on in the country, how things are unfolding. But at the same time, is it really all that surprising? I don't know. Donald Trump, we know he's now a convicted felon, 34 felonies, and I think it's pretty apparent that he's going to lose his upcoming criminal trials. They won't happen. Fritza, Queen Fritza, how you doing today? Is it as beautiful where you at as it is up here in northern New Jersey? It's really nice. After this stream, I'm gonna go outside and just kind of hang out for a little bit, get some sun. It's amazing what the sun can do, because you already know me and you both be going through it. The winter time, those winter months, that November through March, that shit is real. When the sun isn't out and it's just colder, it definitely makes things more difficult. So it's nice that we got the sun. We got Elisa, we got Scott. What's going on, Scott the Lakeside Dragon? I am doing well. I'm doing good. I am. I am. I've been a lot worse, and I'm doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling all right. But again, Trump's upcoming criminal trials are not going to happen. The other ones are not going to happen. And those are the documents and then him trying to, overturn the election in Georgia. But I think it's safe to say he's going to lose those trials as well. I personally believe, sorry, let me take this gum out my mouth while I'm doing this. I personally think that Teddy, what's going on? UC Love, how you doing today? If Donald Trump loses, I personally think he's going to end up in prison, because why? I mean, like, if he's not president, nobody really has any reason to help him. What does he have to offer people? He's guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like it's a situation where he isn't guilty and they don't have anything to throw at him. He owes so much money. His business empire is in shambles. His children aren't going to be able to push it forward any better. And it just really isn't true that wealthy white men never go to prison. It's not quite true. It's almost true, but it's not quite true. You know what I'm saying? In fact, Jared Kushner's father went to prison for embezzlement. Bernie Madoff died in prison. It's obviously it's not fair, but if you look at, like, um corporate fraud rings, people often end up going to prison. Donald Trump is guilty, and his upcoming trials are basically for treason. So I don't really, like, you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't win, why wouldn't he go to prison? I don't know why, but I could be wrong about that. But obviously, we're gonna have to see what's up. And you're right, Scott. Again, the next ones are the most important ones. I'm just thinking, it's easy to say, oh, they won't send him to prison. But when you really think about it, like, I genuinely can't think of a solid reason why he wouldn't go if he loses. If he wins, obviously he's going to do everything he can to pardon himself and get rid of that. But if he loses, what does anybody have to gain from him? People in his position hate him. The only people who like him is his base. You know what I'm saying? He might end up dying in prison, honestly, because he's 80. He's about to be 80. And his next criminal trial, I mean, like, total, he's potentially looking at like 100+ years in prison. Now, he wouldn't get that, obviously, but it's just like, you know, he's the ultimate scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? He's the ultimate scapegoat. If, and again, that he has to lose. If he loses, everybody's gonna be blaming everything on Trump. All the Republicans, a lot of them who used to kiss his butt, now obviously there's gonna be a huge sector that's gonna praise his name no matter what. But man, it's gonna be so many people who are gonna be like, yeah, it's time to move on past Trump. He lost twice. Look at the position that he got the party in. It's time to move on. I guarantee it, but that's if he loses. That's if he loses. So let us go into the day. What we got? What we starting with today? We got Mark Levin. Whenever it pops up, there we go. Mark Levin says the Democratic Party is the new Confederacy after Trump's New York conviction. This needs to be fought. I don't know how the Democratic Party is the new Confederacy, because the Confederacy split from the country, and I guess I guess that's what the similarity is to him. But other than that, but other than that, um, there's no comparison. So let's see what he has to say.
5 years within 11 states, a mere dead letter. 5 years within 11 states, a mere dead letter. And therein, ladies and gentlemen, is the bottom line. Why do I want this case to get before the Supreme Court? So they have the opportunity, whether they take it or not, to give us our due process clause back, to give us our equal protection clause back. It's not up to a prosecutor and a judge.
We got Annie Fitzgerald in the building. How you doing today?
A rogue prosecutor and a rogue judge, for that matter, to destroy and nullify the due process clause of the 5th and 14th Amendment or the equal protection clause of the 5th and 14th Amendment. And we have the same Democrat Party that rejected the Constitution, the same Democrat Party that fought the due process clause, that fought the equal protection clause, the same Democrat Party that after the Civil War, despite the 5th Amendment, despite the Civil War Amendment, the 14th Amendment, still supported segregation, still supported eugenics, still supported.
Why are we talking about that right now? What does that have to do with right now? Like, what is the Democratic Party decades ago have to do with what's going on at the moment? I don't know. Whatever.
Supported and backed Jim Crow. And nobody's a better figure, illustration of that than Joe Biden. Now they do it for different reasons, and they do it in a different way. But it doesn't change who they are and what they are. They hate the Constitution, as they must, as they adopt an increasingly aggressive Marxist ideology. And this party is an autocratic party, an autocratic party. It doesn't care.
Wow. The Democrats are autocratic, but not the Republicans. Because again, y'all could just move on to another person, but no.
How it gets power. What was done to Donald Trump in that courtroom, in addition to everything you heard, is an attempt to nullify the federal Constitution.
What was done to him in the courtroom? I mean, like, at best, these people could say, well, Trump's guilty, but so are other politicians. They're guilty of things too. But still, that doesn't justify your continued devotion to Donald Trump. It doesn't. Like, this whole situation is just ridiculous.
Due process, equal protection. That's what took place. The Democrat Party is the new Confederacy. That's right. It was the old Confederacy. Now it's the new Confederacy. Reverse federalism, where a judge and a prosecutor steal the jurisdictional power of the federal government and all that implies, the Constitution, federal election laws, and these entire processes. That is reverse federalism. That is not
exactly what happened to Donald Trump in that courtroom. Is normally it doesn't happen to people in his position. Well, if you want to say it like that, you're 100% correct. Which is why I said, typically it's true that the rich and powerful get away with things, but everybody's got a line. Everybody's got a line. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, everybody's just a person. And you kind of see a similar type of situation like with what's going on with Diddy. Let me explain. So, obviously Diddy's not a politician or anything like that, but nobody is coming to rush to his defense. Nobody. And that says a lot about the types of relationships that he has. They're all transactional. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're all a means to an end. Donald Trump is the same way. All of the politicians and all of the people in power who support him is just because it's transactional. And again, if he loses, that transaction is going to be null and void. They'll just move on to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just like you said, he's been held accountable for things that he's done. And for this last, for the Stormy Daniels, Fritza, you said it too. He's looking at up to 4 years potentially. But for these other cases, total, again, like, he's gonna lose them. Imagine how like anxious he has to be. Like he has to win this election. If he doesn't win, he's screwed. Why would anybody come to his rescue if he doesn't become president? What is the point? I can't think of any. There's plenty of rich, corrupt white men to just move on. Yeah, so but he's still in a position to where he could win. Some polls, like there've been since the verdict, there've been a little bit of polls that have come out, but you always got to keep your eyes on that type of stuff because polls change, and generally speaking, it's not much has changed, not that much has changed since the conviction. But there are polls that show a growing number of people that are like, okay, maybe we can move on from this guy. And regardless of how you look at it, that's not good for Trump. It just isn't. And then Biden has his own set of problems that he has to address. But neither of these guys are in a good position. All right, so let's see. Where should we go to next? Now we're gonna save the Marjorie Taylor Greene calling to just defund investment, divest from the state of New York over the Trump verdict. Because yeah, people are gonna do that. Okay. Hmm. Okay, let's see what's up with this here. CBS anchor dishes out brutal news for Trump. Whopping 57% agree with Trump felony convictions.
Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. The 7-week New York criminal trial is over. Former President Donald Trump has been found guilty on all 34 charges against him, and he is now able to campaign freely until July 11th, when he will be sentenced. That's exactly 4 days before he is officially nominated at the party's convention in Milwaukee. As a felon, Trump cannot own a firearm.
I saw that he went to the UFC event, but I didn't see any footage of him from there. Again, the guy's gotta be like just exhausted. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie to you. He probably is ready to just pass. That has to be on his mind. Because what else does he really have to do? He's 80. He's lived most of his life. He could live longer, perhaps, but just at the end of the day, he's just in a horrible position. His legacy's done. He's done. What are his kids gonna pass on? What is he gonna pass on to his kids, rather? Like he destroyed everything that his father built, literally.
Or serve in a jury, but he can vote for himself, as he can run and be elected president. But we are clearly in uncharted territory, and it will be some time before we can fully see the impact of the conviction. Our new CBS News poll finds that 57% of Americans think the jury reached the right verdict, with virtually the same share, 56%, saying he received a fair trial. As more evidence of the partisan split in America, 96% of Democrats said the guilty verdict was the right one. So did 56% of independents. But 8 in 10.
Obviously, it's that independent. That's really the vote that counts. So ultimately, it's kind of like in the same position.
Republicans say the verdict was the wrong one and that the trial was not fair. Finally, half think that Trump is not fit to be president now that he's convicted, with 40% saying he is and 8% unsure. What you just heard Trump say about the case coming from Washington is not true. Charges in this case were brought by the Manhattan District Attorney. It is a state case, which means an appeal would not automatically go to the Supreme Court.
Bow, bow. But yeah, there have been a couple of polls that have come out, and they're all like kind of roughly similar. Like 55 to 57% either saying it was a right verdict, and then a healthy amount of people saying that he should drop out, which of course he isn't going to do. I just like it seems like it's going to be kind of a typical unpopular race with establishment voters and independents deciding it. Young people normally don't come out in droves unless, like young people really came out a lot for Obama in 08 because of what he represented, Young people really helped Biden win in 2020 as well. But typically, the youth vote is not something that's like heavy because like when you're younger, you tend to care about like much grander world issues, and then when you get up into your 30s and beyond, you start to think about like your mortgage payments, your retirement account, like your credit score, like stuff like that. But when you're younger, you typically, if it's not something really big and super inspiring, then you don't have the lived experience to care about all of those things as much as you will in time. Okay, so apparently Dr. Fauci is in the news again. So what's up with this? We got absolutely false and simply preposterous. Dr. Fauci fumes over insidious accusations against him in fiery opener to House committee.
Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Ruiz, members of the subcommittee, thank you for this opportunity to testify. Prior to my retirement from federal service in December 2022, I had been at the NIH for 54 years and director of NIAID for more than 38 years. In those posts, I was deeply involved in the scientific and public health response to several infectious diseases outbreaks, including HIV/AIDS, pandemic flu, Ebola, and Zika. And so, under my leadership, we were well positioned to respond to COVID-19. For at least 2 decades prior to the COVID outbreak, we at NIAID had invested billions of dollars in research on mRNA technology and immunogen design, both of which led to the swift development of COVID vaccines. Less than 11 months after the identification of this new virus, safe and highly effective vaccines were widely available, an unprecedented accomplishment in the history of vaccinology that saved tens of millions of lives.
I mean, what ultimately would come from any of this? Like that they're trying to prove that he lied about where coronavirus came from? Are they trying to throw him in prison or something?
Lives worldwide. I will now use my remaining time to direct.
I mean, obviously, COVID is still very much a big deal in the sense of like it's now a viral issue that people just kind of have to deal with. The world changed greatly after the pandemic happened, through and after, and it's still changing greatly because of what went down. So, in that regard, it's still a big deal. But from, politically speaking, this is just a waste of time. I mean, it just goes to show even further, yet another example of how Republicans aren't focused on anything important.
Directly address certain issues that have been seriously distorted concerning me. The first issue concerns my actions regarding the possibility that SARS-CoV-2 might have resulted from a lab leak. On January 31st, 2020, I was informed through phone calls with Jeremy Farrar.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, because they're not talking, because their agenda is taking shit away from people. I mean, essentially, that's what it is. I mean, their agenda is taking stuff from people. You know what I mean? So, like, that's why they still talk about it. And then again, it's like, I don't know how Republicans always overlook the fact that Donald Trump was the president when all of this shit happened. It's like COVID and the lockdowns are the biggest issue for Republicans, or one of the biggest issues. The fact that it happened, they still talking about it. But Donald Trump was in office when it happened. So it's a cult. It just endless examples of how MAGA is a cult. It's like you got your head in the sand and that's where you want it.
Farrar, then director of the Wellcome Trust in the UK, and then with Christian Anderson, a highly regarded scientist at Scripps Research Institute, that they and Eddie Holmes, a world-class evolutionary biologist from Australia, were concerned that the genomic sequence of SARS-CoV-2 suggested that the virus could have been manipulated in a lab.
And wasn't Fauci, hasn't he been in a whole lot of administrations? Like he's done this job several times.
I participated in a conference call the next day with about a dozen international virologists and who recently originated from a lab of the NIH.
Okay, this honestly is whatever. We'll keep up with what goes down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. He was in Trump's administration. I like what are you supposed to do with that? There's no convincing these people. There really isn't. But that's the biggest thing to me is it's like, I mean, if you're mad about the lockdowns, then point your fingers at the man who was in office when it happened. Okay, now this is a bit of a turn right here. Oh God. Now see, this is on TikTok. I was about to go over a story, but I'm to a point now where if I see somebody talking about something on TikTok, I don't particularly believe it because you don't know if they're lying. You don't know if they're telling the truth. This is what I was about to go over right here. Just a fun little story. Boomer tells his laid off adult granddaughter to hang out at local parks and ask elderly people to pay her $20 a chore to make up her $85,000 salary. Which again, this could be true, but then I scrolled down and then I saw, oh, it's people talking on TikTok. So it's you just don't know, man. You don't know. And one of the funniest things to me is sometimes, like, this is kind of more mild, but sometimes, like, the whole internet will get into these massive arguments, these massive brawls for weeks, right? And the whole time it was over a TikTok video where someone's just saying something. Oh, this happened to me when I went out with this guy, or I went out with this woman and this happened. Like, did it really? Because you can, it's actually pretty easy to go viral on TikTok. Like your page isn't necessarily going to blow up, but like you can have a small page on TikTok and post the right thing, and that one just goes viral. So, man, social media is fucking up the world. Social media is fucking people up, man. There's a lot of good, obviously, there's a lot of great things that come with it, but man, people, man, we gotta have real lives. You gotta go outside. You gotta make an effort. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, not only is it anecdotes, but you don't even know if it's true. Okay, let's see. We got, oh, this is some Reddit stuff. Oh, no, that's from TikTok too. That's from TikTok too. Yeah, see, you never know. You can make so many different kinds of videos on there and they end up going viral. All right. Okay, so let's see what Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about. Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to defund the entire state of New York over the Trump verdict. She just says things. She wants to cut off all federal funding to the US's fourth most populous state. The Georgia Republican said she would push House Speaker Mike Johnson to defund the state of New York after former President Donald Trump was convicted Thursday of 34 felony charges related to hush money payments he made to the porn star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. She made the remarks Saturday during an interview with Steve Bannon on the TV channel Real America's Voice. Quote, well, hold on, let's see.
Are you telling me right now that your belief is, as a sitting congressman, that the Speaker of the House is lying to President Trump? He's not doing everything,
Yes.
ma'am?
Yeah, no, he's doing nothing. He's helping the Biden administration. He fully funded the Department of Justice. He fully funded the entire attack against President Trump. Jack Smith, special counsel.
Okay, hold on.
President Trump, he's not doing everything?
Yo, she
Yes.
goes crazy.
Yeah, no, he's doing nothing. He's helping the Biden administration. He fully funded the Department of Justice. He fully funded the entire attack against President Trump. Jack Smith, special counsel. Merrick Garland.
Because we don't want the Department of Justice to be fully funded. That we don't want that.
fully funded Matthew Graves, who just convicted a 75-year-old woman yesterday, and they're sending her to prison for 2 years for protesting in an abortion clinic. No, Mike Johnson has fully funded all of this. He can stand at the sticks and say whatever he wants, but his words no longer matter. The only thing that matter are his actions going forward. The only thing that matter from the
What the hell is wrong with this woman?
Republican Party to the American people are Republican actions going forward. That's the only thing that matters. And I think the American people have turned a corner after they watched that conviction come down in New York, to the point where it's like, you know what? Screw New York. New York doesn't deserve a damn penny. We should.
Yeah, that's what the whole country is talking about right now. Everybody, after seeing the Trump verdict, everyone's like, yeah, we gotta pull all of our resources into sanctioning the state of New York.
Them one single dime, not a dime, because New York, you want to know the state of New York, you know what they did?
And what is that? Oh God.
Steve? That state of New York released a monster, an illegal alien, that then traveled down to Georgia and murdered Laken Riley. Yet they convicted President Trump of 30.
What does that have to do with anything? They released somebody and they went and did something bad, but so therefore Donald Trump shouldn't have been found guilty for things that he did.
34 fake felony charges. Oh, no. The state of New York is the one that carries on and continues crime and violence and corruption. They don't deserve a penny from the federal government. That's what Speaker Johnson can do. He can say, I'm sorry, New York. You just convicted President Trump.
Are they playing music to shut her up?
We aren't giving you a damn thing. And that's what I'm
He's like, okay, Marjorie.
going back to Washington with, Steve. I'm not going to give a single effing penny to anybody until we hold these people accountable. And that's exactly what we should be doing.
They was turning. They was like, okay, turn the music up. Let's try to convince her to tone it down a little. She said, I'm gonna go back. That's what she going back to Washington to do. She going back to Washington to defund the state of New York, because that'll improve people's lives. If millions of people live in New York, we're gonna defund people's access to opportunities and social benefit programs because Donald Trump got found guilty. Oh man, New York doesn't deserve a damn penny. We shouldn't fund them one single dime. Right, home to 19.6 million people, the state benefited from $383 billion in federal spending in fiscal year 2022, according to a report from the state's comptroller. Of course that won't happen. Yo, listen, man, we living in crazy times. We are living in crazy times. Like, listen, if Marjorie Taylor Greene can become a member of the House of Representatives, then don't you doubt yourself, okay? I know I've said that many times, but don't sell yourself too short, man. Oh, and of course, yes. She want to exact. This is a good point. One of the problems with her wanting to defund New York is that Donald Trump has an even more serious, a much more serious, perhaps the most serious criminal trial in her home state of Georgia. And he's probably definitely going to lose that trial. So should we defund the state of Georgia as well? Like, how's that going to go down? How's that going to work? Exactly. I don't really understand what she just wants no federal funding. So it said in 2022, New York received $383 billion in federal funding. She like, just cut all of that shit off. Just not a dime. She didn't say cut it in half. She said, don't give them a penny, not a damn penny, not nothing. But again, we'll have to see what she has to say about her home state of Georgia, who's, has a very extremely good chance of finding him guilty. Yes, yes, exactly. New York is one of the states that the rest of the country counts on and depends on to fund the country federally because of how much money is in New York. This is funny as hell. She's hmm. And her own party be like, she just looks unhinged because she is. Okay, so what's up with Alex Jones? Apparently, Alex Jones is a victim. You know, he's a victim. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones breaks down sobbing on InfoWars show, claiming feds are trying to shutter the show.
Shooting, Mr. Jones' audience has grown exponentially. Is that fair to say?
Since 2012, yes. So there has been an increase in the viewership.
There's been, at least as Mr. Jones has described it, it's been an exponential growth, correct?
I think he's used those words, yes.
Okay. And as a result of that growth, Alex Jones and InfoWars.
Have y'all seen that meme, that Alex Jones meme, where he's just screaming, where he's just like, letting his primal fury loose?
Have had billions upon billions of social media impressions, correct?
I'm sure that there have been that many. I don't know the exact number, but I'm not going to disagree.
I don't know the exact number, but it's a whole hell of a lot.
At the end of the day, we're gonna beat these people. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight. These people hate our children.
These people hate our children. But you didn't hate the family, the children of the families for Sandy Hook when you were bullying them for over a decade. So these are definitely crocodile tears right here.
At the end of the day, we're gonna beat these people. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight.
I'm sure you're having a hard time, but very much self-inflicted. This is a very much a self-inflicted wound, Alex.
These people hate our children. Just take more calls. Go ahead, there's the next person.
Yeah, again, I'm sure he is having a bit of a rough go at things, but again, yeah, little bit little difficult to feel sorry for the guy, you know. Wasn't really an innocent mistake. It's not like he was like, "Oh, it wasn't real." And then he was like, "Oh, actually I checked the data and it is." No, 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 no. He did what he did for a very long time on purpose because it made him money, because it got him a lot of impressions, because as this former rep of InfoWars stated, and you can tell she's like, "Yeah, it is what it is." They were making money and they were getting a ton of impressions. So again, it's kind of, yes, exactly. Play that violin. Play that smallest violin for him. Go ahead. Play it loudly. Play it loudly and proudly. Yeah, no, those were very much crocodile tears. Okay, what we got now? Donald Trump warns. He got a warning for everybody. What do you got? What is he warning us of? Trump warns of public breaking point if he's jailed. Nah, we're beyond that point now. We're beyond that point. The country largely has already moved on. It's just that we're in the middle of this election, and either you or Joe Biden have to become president. That's all it really is. But other than that, people have pretty much moved on. I mean, how much, what kind of a breaking point is it really going to be? I mean, we're more likely to have World War III than we are to have a civil war. You know what I'm saying? Like, this country is not going to go to civil war over no goddamn Donald Trump. I mean, how would that even happen? You know, yeah, you might have people rioting in the streets here and there, but that's not an organized army with a plan. Like, come on, bro. Come on, man. So let's see. Former President Trump, in a Sunday interview, warned of a public breaking point if he is sentenced to house arrest or jail time following his conviction. And again, it's like, what this the whole one of the dumbest things about this is that you lost in 2020. You lost. Like, if you were this kind of popular, you would have won. I mean, you would have won in a landslide, but you didn't. You lost. I don't know what the public would. What does he say? I don't know what the public. I don't know that the public would stand it. I don't. I'm not sure the public would stand for it, Trump said in an interview on Fox News and Fox and Friends when asked about the possibility of house arrest or jail time. I think it'd be tough for the public to take. At a certain point, there's a breaking point. We already had the breaking point. I mean, January 6th, I would say that was like the climax of the breaking points, people actually running up in the Capitol. But since then, it's just become more mild. You know what I'm saying? It's just become more mild. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen to him. If Donald Trump doesn't win, he has nothing whatsoever to offer anybody. You're right. Man, he's going to get thrown under the bus just like he's thrown everybody under the bus if he loses. You know what I'm saying? So I don't envy the man. If he never would have became president, he wouldn't even be in this position. But again, the climax of people doing anything for him, like rampaging in the streets, was January 6th, 2021. When they ran up in the Capitol, thousands of people. But after that, it's just been a slow decrease. People are going to put their lives aside for you? No, man. Trump, the presumptive GOP presidential nominee, was convicted last week on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to cover up a scheme to conceal potentially damaging information from the American public ahead of the 2016 presidential campaign. But yeah, no, we're past that point. We're past that point. Now, let's see. We got Alina Habba. She was one of the few lawyers that Trump paid because, he don't like to pay people. She got paid like $3 million or something, which is definitely she got paid $3 million to lose, but she got her money. He said, if I went to prison, I'd join the chorus of felons. Imagine Trump leading the chorus, leading the gospel chorus. All right. From a jail cell, Trump lawyer Alina Habba gets grilled on whether Trump will run, even if he's locked up.
We have seen some corruption that this country has frankly never seen before in our judicial system. It is very real. It is not posturing by any means. It is 100% a problem that this country is going to have to handle and get a grapple on in November. Donald Trump is the victim of political selective prosecution.
And if he fails in his appeal that you say that you are
again even if you want to give right, $3 million to never be trusted by anyone else again. That's why I hope you made some good stock market investments. $3 million is a lot of money, but not really. So you better invest it wisely. But yeah, no matter how you look at it, like you can definitely give some credence to the argument that, like if it wasn't Trump, they wouldn't have brought all these charges. They wouldn't be going this hard. You can give as much credence to that as you want. He's still guilty. It doesn't matter. He's still guilty. He still did it. He is a habitual criminal. He eats, breathes, and sleeps fraud. That's what he does. That's who he is. And it's who he's been his whole life. So it doesn't matter if this is politically motivated. He's fucking guilty.
that you would win, and he does end up in jail, would he run for president from a jail cell?
He is running for president. Nothing will change there.
Even if he ends up being locked up?
Again, I recommend you find the latest polls in this country from the people that live in this country, the people that need him in this country, because frankly, it's more important than anything anybody else thinks.
And again, like, even like the whole argument that he's so popular falls flat on its face because he lost in 2020. So even if he wins in November, he still isn't popular. You know, like, it's just, this whole facade is ridiculous. I mean, these people have permanently embarrassed themselves. The Republican Party, the whole Republican apparatus, has no credibility whatsoever. None.
Our people are speaking loudly. They're donating.
Like, you could at least hold Reagan up like this. You feel me? Like, I mean, Reagan was, Reagan caused a lot of issues too, but between him, George Bush, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump, man, Republicans love some goofy people, man. Good God. Because they love George W. Bush too, but he was extremely unpopular towards the end of his second term. The end of his second term was not good for him. George Bush cracks me up because it's like, he just so clearly should never have had that job. Like, he just shouldn't have had it. I mean, he wasn't even doing anything in that position. It was Dick Cheney who was doing everything while Dick Cheney was doing his thing. But he's just so oblivious. He's just like a dumb guy, and he's just kind of like, hey, pass me one of those beers. Like, that's who he is. You feel me? And he just came from a very, very wealthy and politically powerful family. So, so he got to become governor and president. Governor of one of the biggest states in the country and president. But he just never should have had those jobs. Okay, so now we got Donald Trump talking about how incredible religion is. But yeah, like, it's just like a whole dying era. We're going, I mean, it's just time for younger generations to shine. Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. It's just, it's our time to take the reins. Because let's move on. Let's keep making positive change out here. Let's do our best. Okay, okay. Religion is such a great thing. Trump gushes over evangelical support even after porn star hush money convictions. Yo.
This is Sharon
Listen,
from Alabama.
Man, relationships are complicated, right? But man, this dude be run around sleeping with other women while they married, while their wives is pregnant when they just had babies. Like, damn, bro, you couldn't do this before y'all got married or something, like, or you couldn't do this like when she wasn't pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just do it, and it's like, I don't give a damn. They don't care. They don't give a damn at all.
And I think her question,
but of course, Jesus is Lord, says Donald Trump.
Actually ties into what we were just talking about. How do you do this? And I know that you've said before that you've been sustained by the prayers.
Right. I love the Bible so much. That's why I can't give you a single verse that's my favorite. I can't name one. They're all great. They're all amazing.
Lots of Americans I've seen.
1 and 2 Corinthians, bro. 2 Corinthians. That's some of the funniest shit ever. Man, if you say 2 Corinthians, your ass ain't never done nothing up in the church, man.
Pictures of people praying over you.
It's incredible, actually.
Her question is, she says, you've been faced with so much adversity and persecution for years. What's your relationship with
I like the Bible because I imagine myself as the Antichrist.
God like, and how do you pray? That's Sharon.
How do you pray? What did they just ask this dude? I mean, come on, man. Come on. You really think this?
Adversity and persecution for years. What's your relationship with God like, and how do you pray? That's Sharon from Alabama.
Okay, so I think it's good. I do very well with the evangelicals. I love the evangelicals. And I have more people saying they pray for me. I can't even believe it. And they are so...
He's saying nothing. He's saying absolutely nothing right now.
Committed, and they're so believing. They say, sir, you're going to be okay. I pray for you every night. I mean, everybody, almost, I can't say
He's not saying shit. This is hilarious. They say, sir, I pray for you. You're going to be okay. Don't worry. All the time.
You pray. That's Sharon from Alabama.
Okay, so I think it's good. I do very well with the evangelicals. I love the evangelicals.
I love them.
And I have more people saying they pray for me. I can't even believe it.
Right. She said, how do you pray? Well, other people pray for me all the time. So I got they got it covered for me. I don't really have to worry about it.
And they are so committed, and they're so believing. They say, sir, you're going to be okay. I pray for you every night. I mean, everybody, almost, I can't say everybody, but almost everybody that sees me, they say it.
I can't say everybody, but almost everybody.
It's such a beautiful thing. You know what's a beautiful thing, too? When you look at all of this bad stuff going on, they have nothing to look up to. They have no God. They have no anything.
What is he talking about?
You know what's a beautiful thing, too? When you look at all of this bad stuff going on, they have nothing to look up to. They have no God. They have no anything. They kill people. They beat people. They push people into subways.
What? Yo, what is he talking about?
There's just nothing there. Religion is such a great thing. It keeps you.
Religion is such a great thing. Oh my God. This is hilarious.
Anything. They kill people, they beat people, they push people into subways. There's just nothing there. Religion is such a great thing. It keeps you, there's something to be good about. You want to be good.
Yo, no, look, here's the thing. There's something to be good about. You want to be good. Man, because look, God more than anything else is a concept. And what I mean by that is there are many names for God. There are many ways of coming and stumbling across the idea that something is holding the universe together, whether that be you believe it through a certain religious path. Because again, at the end of the day, like religious texts, there's all types of stuff in religious texts, but there is a lot of guides to like life, like it's nobody can say with a straight face that there's nothing good in religious text. That's bullshit. That's nonsense. So from that regard, people can learn and use it as a guide. But when I say God is a concept, kind of having some type of realization that you're blessed, that things could be worse, that life is good. Trump has no concept of God. It's not even that he isn't religious, because there's plenty of people who aren't religious. I'm not religious, but I do have a concept of God, a concept of the large, grander universe at whole has meaning. You know what I'm saying? There's no concept of that for Donald Trump, which is why he's struggling so hard to answer this question. Because if you ask that to anybody else, they could say, well, I don't really even he doesn't pray. You could say, well, I don't really pray that often, but I try my best to be thankful for X, Y, and Z. He has no concept of that whatsoever. He's empty. He's such an empty person. An incredibly empty man.
Into subways, there's just nothing there. Religion is such a great thing. It keeps you, there's something to be good about. You want to be good. It's so important. And I don't know if it's explained right. I don't know if I'm explaining it right now, but
I don't know if I'm explaining it right. See, again, he has no concept of these things whatsoever. He has no concept of caring about other people, loving other people, looking to the future. None of that shit. He is just an empty, vapid, makeup spray painted sack of shit whose entire world revolves around 5 minutes from now. Like, he is a stupid, just vapid human being. This is pathetic. This is unbelievably pathetic. And they're all looking at him like, God. I mean, how can you sit here and listen to this and think, yeah, he has a concept of God for sure.
Have something like that, you want to be good. You want to go to heaven, okay? You want to go to heaven. If you don't have heaven, you almost say,
what?
What's the reason? Why do I have to be good?
Like, again, he doesn't know anything about any of this shit whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, what is religion? You look at it, like from an anthropological perspective. Even before like writing, human beings have always had some type of a concept of God. This man has none whatsoever. He doesn't even understand.
It's incredible, actually.
Her question is, she says, you've been faced with so much adversity and persecution for years. What's your relationship with God like, and how do you pray? That's Sharon from Alabama.
You didn't answer the question at all. What is your relationship with God like, and how do you pray? Again, you don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be a Muslim. You don't have to be anything like that to answer the question better than this. There's no love inside of this man.
Okay, so I think it's good. I do very well with the evangelicals. I love the evangelicals. And I have more people saying they pray for me. I can't even believe it. And they are so committed, and they're so believing. They say, "Sir, you're going to be okay."
Again, like how much is in the Bible that talks about loving your neighbor? There's again, this is all types of religious texts: the Bible, the Quran, Hindu texts, Buddhist. It typically is a guide to life that teaches you. There's a lot in there about working hard, having patience. You know what I'm saying? Understanding the value of community and family. That type of stuff is scattered through religious text. And one of the most interesting things about it, again, is what it says about human beings, what it says about our place in the universe, our place in the world. We ask why. We want to know why we're here. That's one of the biggest blessings of being a human being. And it's like, that just isn't inside of him. Like, it's just not there.
I pray for you every night. I mean, everybody, almost, I can't say everybody, but almost everybody that sees me, they say it. It's such a beautiful thing. You know what's a beautiful thing, too? When you look at all of this bad stuff going on, they have nothing to look up to. They have no God. They have no anything.
And again, how can you even say that? Because, yes, they do.
They kill people, they beat people, they push people into subways. There's just nothing there. Religion is such a great thing. It keeps you, there's something to be good about. You want to be good. It's so important. And I don't know if it's explained right. I don't know if I'm explaining it right now. But when you have something like that, you want to be good. You want to go to heaven, okay? You want to go to heaven. If you don't have heaven, you almost say, what's the reason? Why do I have to be good? Let's not be good. What difference does it make? Right? Or they try to create heaven here.
If there's no heaven, why do I need to be good? Again, he missed the point entirely. He totally missed the point, man. That was one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen from him. And we've all seen plenty of pathetic responses, and man, there is nothing going on up there or in here. Perhaps more importantly, there's nothing going on in here with that man at all. Exactly. Like, he don't know nothing about it. No concept of love, no concept of purpose, none of that. Now, Yeah, I cannot blame the sister at all. Yeah, you got to leave after this. This is a pretty egregious lie. Exactly. It reveals his worldview. She broke up with her boyfriend of 2 years after she found out he lied about living with his sister and really lived with his ex-girlfriend. Yeah, you got to go after that. That's a pretty egregious lie. That's a massive lie. And the lengths that you would have to go to keep that lie pervasive in someone's mind and understanding of who you are. Yeah, you got to get out of there. This 41-year-old woman and her boyfriend, who was 44, had been seeing each other for about 2 years. And back when they first met, her boyfriend claimed that he was living with his sister. Well, upon meeting his so-called sister, she realized that the woman basically never wanted her around. And she actually almost caused our relationship to end many times because of her jealousy, she recalled. Nonetheless, while the beginning of their relationship definitely got off to a very rocky start, they somehow made it work and remained together for 2 whole years. Yet, they must not have been around each other very often, or she not at his house. Like there must have been like a constant degree of purposeful separation. Because if you close enough, right, exactly, that's definitely a boy bye. Like, nah, I can't. Like, you can't trust nothing nobody says or does. If they, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between a little white lie. You know, you can kind of there's a difference. This is not a white lie. This is definitely not a white. Yet when she eventually got to meet her boyfriend's oldest son, she made a shocking realization. Her boyfriend's roommate was actually never his sister, after all, but one of his ex-girlfriends. She made the discovery after talking to her boyfriend's son and realizing that he didn't know her boyfriend's sister. Be like, huh? No, he ain't got no sister. I don't really understand how this man thought that um I don't know how he thought he was gonna get away with this. I don't really get it. All right, let's see. After she confronted her boyfriend about this, he just claimed that he didn't think she needed to know the truth. I didn't think you needed to know that. Really? Well, what else don't I need to know? If I don't need to know this, if I don't need to know this, then what else do I not need to know? That's a massive lie. That is a massive lie. Right, exactly. He didn't think about it at all. He just assumed that stuff was gonna go his way. I didn't think you needed to know that. I mean, bro, if you this is the type of stuff that like it would hurt, but like your respect for someone would drop so low that you would just be like you would be more amazed than hurt. It would be like, huh? I don't even know who the fuck you actually are. I don't even know who the hell you really are. You know what I'm saying? This is hilarious. Now, this was obviously some shocking news to find out, but wait, there was more because she also learned that her boyfriend had been texting a bunch of different ex-girlfriends every day, telling them good morning. Oh yeah, he just he doesn't have any direction in anything that he's doing regarding this. He just wakes up and does stuff. He needs a constant flow of attention. Mm-mm. I really love this man, she admitted, but the betrayal is just too much for me to move past. Yeah, but yeah, like you that's too big. That's why she wound up breaking up with her boyfriend and refused to give him a second chance. I mean, how could you give somebody a second chance after something like that? I don't really understand. Like, you know. Oh, actually, I this is my sister, but she's not. Like, what? But anyway, we had a fantastic Monday stream. About an hour. We usually go for about an hour. Everything went well. I'm feeling pretty good. It's a warm day. Now it's 87 degrees. So I'm gonna get outside, give me some sun, try to get a little bit more of a tan. And I want to get my hair back to what it used to be. Before I bleached it, I want to make it back just all like this. I'm ready to do that. And then you kissed a girl and it set off your ADHD. But yeah, no, I'll be streaming tomorrow as well, unless there's like nothing to talk about. I'll be doing that. But thank you everybody for everything that you do. I had a great Monday, and y'all have a good afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow.